How's it going, everybody? The NFL draft has finally concluded, and in this video, I want to give my favorite picks from day 3 of the 2024 NFL draft. That includes round 4, 5, 6, and 7. Of course, let's start off this video with Troy Franklin, who was the highest person on my board to be drafted in day 3. So I think there are two big reasons why Troy Franklin fell this far, particularly that the combine didn't go really as well for him. He came in at a lighter weight at 176 pounds, only ran a 4.4 when a lot of other receivers really boosted their stock running in the 4.3s. And also, when he was doing the catch drill, he was really weaving in and out of the catching drill. So I think those are some of those reasons why he fell all the way to the 4th round, but that's really egregious. I had him as my wide receiver 7. Looking at his stats from Oregon this year, 81 receptions, 1,383 receiving yards, and 14 touchdowns, as well as he is great after the catch. He had an over 3 yards per route run, and he's going to the Broncos, which the particular thing about that team is they just drafted Bo Nix. Combine your college quarterback, combining a college quarterback and a college receiver has seemed to work out in the past, particularly Burrow and Chase, of course, but always a good thing to have a familiar face in the building. So that also really does boost the grade for me here. Without Bo Nix, I think I would have probably just given this a regular A. And then this was another really nice pick here from the Patriots, Patriots have been doing a good job this draft, particularly with helping out Drake May. We saw that with Jalen Polk. He got drafted within the 2nd round. And then now we have Javon Baker, who I gave a 6.29 grade to. That's a 3rd round grade, and he went within the 4th round at 110. Love Javon Baker. We look at a few things with him. It's one, he had a 3.21 yards per route run. He had a 1,139 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns on only 52 receptions. He's a really big play guy, especially at the catch point. Kind of just throw it up to him and he'll make a play, especially within the red zone. Was an Alabama transfer, went to UCF and had 2,000 yards receiving years. Also an acrobatic catcher as well, and has some good top end speed. I don't know what he ran at the combine particularly, but he seems pretty fast in game. Great catcher, especially at the catch point and especially as a vertical threat. I like this move for the Patriots a lot. I'm gonna give, especially for the value they got Baker as, I'm gonna give this an A+. I thought Isaiah Guerendo was actually going to go a lot lower within this draft class. I know he's had a lot of draft process hype. Even me, I fell for it a lot too. I had him at one point as my running back 4, ended up having him as running back 6, as well as having a 4th round grade on him, and he went in the 4th round, which is good. The thing about Isaiah Guerendo was, the reason why I thought he was going to fall a lot more was because he is 23 years old and has had in a lot of big injury history. In 2018 he got hurt. In 2020 he got hurt again, as well as he was not the lead back at Louisville. It was Jawar Jordan who went, I think, a bit after him. However, the things that you really can like about Isaiah Guerendo are he's an elite athlete. He had a 9.9 a relative athletic score. He ran a 4.33 at the combine, as well as being 6 foot 221 pounds. That's very fast for his size, as well as very explosive player. Against USC, he had 3 touchdowns, 140 yards, and when he hit the hole, he just pounded through it. And especially for the 49ers, you do have Christian McCaffrey, but a nice change of pace back who can kind of fill that backup role could be Isaiah Guerendo. He was one of my favorite running backs in this class, so I'm giving this a nice little A+ here. One of my big underrated guys in this draft process was Cam Hart. So the thing that I really like about Cam Hart was when I was watching Marvin Harrison tape, and you can go on my channel and watch my Marvin Harrison prospect breakdown, the best game or the worst game that he really played all year, and it wasn't that it was worse in particularly that it was a bad game, it was just because of the guy he was going up against, who was Cam Hart. Cam Hart only allowed 2 catches, maybe 3 catches on Marvin Harrison for only 33 yards. He was one of the guys that seemed to really affect Marvin, especially when, once he broke his route, Cam Hart was there because Cam Hart has elite length. He's 6'3", 202 pounds, has a long wingspan, and Cam Hart really is that lockdown, or is a lockdown style of cornerback. You're not going to see many flashy interceptions or forced incompletions. In 12 games, 0 interceptions, only 4 forced incompletions. But when you look at some of the other stats, only 15 receptions allowed all year very good numbers, and a 67 passer rating allowed, 84 coverage grade. Cam Hart, I thought he was really underrated, and in the 5th round, especially because the Chargers, they just grabbed another cornerback right in front of him, Tarheb Still, who, well, I don't think that was a great pick, but I really like this Cam Hart pick. The Chargers had a secondary that really only has one guy with Asante Samuel. Now you can add a true boundary guy who can maybe follow some of the bigger X receivers, so I really like this pick from the Chargers. From 144 to around 147, we had some really good picks with Booker, Chris Ames-Durain, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Audric Esteem. Really good picks, but I want to hone in particularly on Austin Booker. I'm going to give this draft pick an A. The thing about Austin Booker and why he not necessarily fell, but he is young. He is 21 years old, a redshirt sophomore, so he doesn't have as much maturity and development at the FBS level. Of course, he went to Kansas. But the thing about him is he has a ton of potential, and you can have a lot of time to develop him too. He'll be in a backup role. You drafted him into the 5th round, so this was their last pick of the day. And I mean, the Bears have really had a good draft, honestly. But when we're looking at Austin Booker, he's 6'5", 240 pounds, had an 80 pass rush grade, 8 sacks, 38 pressures, a 14% pass rush win rate, and a 10.2 run stop rate. He's a really flashy player. You'll see in sometimes on film, incredible quick spin move and just disrupts the quarterback. But then there are some times where he can be a little inconsistent, maybe lacking in the power department as well. He rarely kind of goes to that bull rush or speed to power, but his pass rush moves are getting more defined as he grows more. And he has some really flashy plays, of course, with spin moves and some swim moves and ghost rushes. He has that potential, so especially in the 5th round, not that much of a... You're not investing so much into this pick, and you can get a lot out of it, especially because Austin Booker, I think he can get some immediate impact right away, so I'm going to give this pick an A. The 6th round was it felt like it was very inconsistent. You had some really good value picks, and then you had some bad picks. So the 6th round, a little bipolar. However, let's start the 6th round off with Malik Washington. Malik Washington ended up as my wide receiver 15. He was in ESPN's top 100. He was in my top 100. And the thing about Malik Washington is, first off, broke the ACC single record for 110 receptions in 2023. That's the award that he got. But when you look at some of the other stats, 1,426 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, had a 92.4 receiving grade. The numbers looked really good as well, as you're talking about the most slot yards, 1,100 slot yards, the most slot receptions, pure slot guy. And he did really, really well at that role at Virginia. I think the reason why he slipped a little bit was, one, he is undersized, clearly. I think he is also just smaller. He's just smaller. 5'8", 191 pounds, looks small on tape. 23 years old and a redshirt senior. He's been in college football for a good bit. But it's not like he's extremely small playing style-wise. 64% contested catch rate, as well as he's explosive and great after the catch. Good speed too at 4.47. I thought Washington could have gone easily within the late 3rd or the early 4th. Slips all the way to pick 184. Great move by the Dolphins, he could start probably right away in the slot or be a good 4th receiver for them. This Wingo pick in the 6th round was so surprising because we saw Jordan Jefferson go in the 5th round, and also we saw Mason Smith go in the 2nd round, both by the Jaguars. What were they thinking? I had Mekhi Wingo as my 8th interior defensive lineman. I had Mason Smith as my 12th, and I had Jordan Jefferson undrafted. I thought Jordan Jefferson could have gone undrafted, really. Not the best player. He did test really well, and Mason Smith has a ton of potential. He had a really good freshman year, but then he tore his ACL, didn't have the best year this year. So that 2nd round pick by the Jaguars was a potential pick, but Wingo had the best tape among that interior defensive line group at LSU this year. First off, 4.5 sacks, 19 pressures, 7.9% pass rush win rate, and an 8.73 relative athletic score. Tested good at the combine, had a really good split time, as well as I thought he had the best tape at the LSU. He looked like the most consistent defensive lineman there, but also he flashed a lot of pass rush moves pretty well. The one thing that I understand why he fell a little bit was clearly undersized. He is a tweener. of a, not a tweener, that's an edge term, but he's undersized, 6 foot, 184 pounds, and he only had a 3.4 run stop rate, and he can get pushed back and get knocked back by heavier offensive linemen and double teams, of course. So it's interesting to see exactly where he'll play. For the Lions, they play a 4-3, so he'll have to play the 3 tech. But again, this dude is 20 years old, and he has great movement, is a good pass rusher. Those swim moves that he does are pretty nice as well. So this is really good value for the 6th round, especially because I thought he was the best out of the 3 LSU defensive linemen. And then with the last pick that I'll show, I'll give one honorable mention in a sec, but Christian Mahogany going at 210 really late in the 6th round was mind-blowing for me, because Christian Mahogany was my 3rd best guard in this class, my 4th best interior offensive lineman, not including the center class. But Mahogany is not only a good pass blocker, but a good run blocker too. I don't know if he fell because of medical concerns or something, or because of age. He is 23 and a redshirt senior, but he's big. He's 6'4", 213 pounds. He had an 82 pass blocking grade, 74 run blocking grade, 0 sacks allowed, only 7 pressures allowed, 99.1 pass blocking efficiency. He tested great too, 9.64 relative athletic score. Very good run blocker, especially within the 2nd level. And then as a pass blocker, he can really wall off defenders and is good with getting stunts and picking up stunts of that sort. Long arms too. I thought Christian Mahogany was a shoo-in for the 3rd round. I had a 3rd round grade on him as well. And man, the 210, and for a team that Christian Mahogany is a right guard. Jonah Jackson signed to the Rams this offseason for a 3-year deal. You just replace him immediately with Mahogany, who I think can be a day 1 starter, or at least a back half of the season starter, barring injuries to anybody on the offensive line. Really good pick here by the Lions. I'm going to give this an easy A+. And if I were to give one honorable mention in the 7th, I know I didn't get to the 7th round, but I didn't have any A grades for the 7th round outside of Michael Barrett here. I had Michael Barrett as my interior offensive lineman 5. The reason why he fell was because he is old. He's 24 years old, gonna turn 25 in like 6 or 7 months. And he is a grad student. I think he transferred too, but 84 defensive grade, 65 tackles, 3 sacks, 0 interceptions, 92.3 pass rush grade.'He's kind of a specialty rusher or a specialty linebacker because he is best really when he rushes the passer. That can be through the A gap, the B gap, or out on the outside. 5'11", 233 pounds. I just thought that this was really, really, really low. At 240 for Michael Barrett, again, my 5th interior inside linebacker for this class. Michigan had a really good linebacking core with him and Colson. And again, you can see right here, finished his career with the most games played in Michigan history. Good tackler as well. I don't see many true weaknesses outside of his age. But again, that is my honorable mention. But that's going to do it for the NFL draft, really. And that's going to do it for this video on the best picks of day 3. After this video, I'm going to post this video right after day 3, probably at around 8:30 or so. But tomorrow, you guys are going to be getting my ranking and grading every NFL team's 2024 NFL draft class, looking at all the draft class, giving grades to almost every player, as well as grades for the teams and rankings. But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe as always. And thank you guys so much for the support. As of recently, we're almost at 1,700 subscribers, so let's hit that number at least tonight. I'll see you guys in the next video.